Okay, hold on. One more sip.
You're good. I didn't even bring your water, so I don't know who I am.
Who are we? We're
I'm not
hydrating
an emotional
and
support
well.
water. Like,
I know we're millennials. We need our water bottle.
at least, like, I have no beverages by me. Like, this is what happens when I'm recording in a different place. You're over here prepared. You have a water bottle.
All right, welcome to Not Your Man Sports Podcast.
The podcast where two long distance besties spill the tea on fantasy football, game day drama, and everything in between. My name's Andrea.
And I am Ashley, and week two is here. Um,
Week two.
so the title of this episode is Week 2 and 0 because give one up for the Bills. They are 2 and 0. But it could also be 0 and 2 for the Panthers.
Okay, but I want to say this is who the company of the Panthers are in. They're in the same company as the Jets, the Browns, the Dolphins, the Saints, the Bears, and drumroll, Kansas City Chiefs. Does that make you feel better?
No. Just bluntly, no, I don't feel good. I don't feel good about it. But we're here. But before we dive into how this week looked like for both of our teams and the league and our fantasy teams, we have a little icebreaker.
Okay, so I'm calling this bandwagoning without shame. So, aside from the Panthers, who would you be 100% on board to support, even though you've never supported them before, and why?
And this conversation is just NFL because if we branch out for other teams, I could
Oh
totally
God.
get down with.
Let's start it with just NFL and then give like a quick answer of like, what's another team that you're like, I 100% bandwagon them.
Okay, perfect. So just NFL, my bandwagon team is the Philadelphia Eagles. I think I've been on the bandwagon for like one of our bird teams. Um,
Weird. I'm over here singing Fly Eagle Fly.
Fly Eagles fly. I think I've been on their bandwagon for a couple years now, mostly because Jalen Hurts is, first of all, fine as hell. But second of all, he has been my keeper league fantasy quarterback since we started the keeper league, and I am in love with him. And the one thing I will say is I love the dynamic of their team. Like when a team is really clicking, I think that they deserve to win championships. Like when you see that camaraderie, that like clicking, like I don't even know how to put it into words, but there's like a clickingness where you're just like, I want to be part of this and I want them to do
It's
well.
the
And you just
energy
feel
from
like,
whenever they were playing Dreams and Nightmares. Is that why we were like the Meek Mill Dreams and Nightmares year?
yeah, and I still listen to that song if I need a little boost in the middle of a run. So just gonna,
Okay, that is the song boost. I have that song is like one of my songs when I finish marathons, half marathons. It's like, do you need a last minute song to run the 0.2 miles to get to the finish line? Get dreams and nightmares, dreams and nightmares.
I know, just like on repeat, like, hold up, wait a minute. Like, and then you're just like, I got this. And yeah,
You're
so
like, I can do anything. I can run 5 more steps.
yeah, like, listen, that song is a lot deeper than like I have any experience with in my like privileged little bubble. However, it does get the people going. So,
Yes, it does.
Philadelphia Eagles is my bandwagon team. Andrea, what is your bandwagon team?
All right. Well, I'm going to be a two-parter because I have to also choose the Eagles, but for a completely different reason. Yes, I loved the big like the Meek Mill year where you just like saw the chemistry, but I had two really good friends in Denver who were from Pennsylvania. And whenever we'd go out on Saturdays in our younger years, they would drag us to Penn State bars. And then as we would go out on Fridays, I would be like, all right, we're going to go to Bills bars, watch Bills games. And then it also became like, we're going to go watch the Eagles too. And like, this girl is like so into like just bouncing around. We'll start like dancing, like singing, like with the little fly eagles fly, and we just for some reason I happen to know a lot of people from Pennsylvania around Philadelphia. So shout out Amanda, Gina, Brett, all of them, like all of them, just like so
Mhm.
the Eagles like I feel like you just have the energy. Yes, they're very, very intense team. But I don't know. Like for some reason, I'm just like, I appreciate the intensity. As you know, I'm a team that just jumps through fire tables. So
Yeah.
that's my part one. The second one is weirdly the 49ers, just because I have a huge connection with them on my fantasy team, and I just wanted to see them continue to do well. Also, when they played the Chiefs, I wanted them to do well, but I owned the whole running, all the running backs, the whole backfield last year, and
Yeah.
I have Brock Purdy. So I'm like, I want them to do well. And now I'm also a Christian Check supporter because I'm obsessed with her whole clothing line. So it's
So
my
we love it.
bandwagon. So
Also,
we love it.
like, as you know, I have a thing for coaches. Like the people don't know this, but you personally, because
Ooh.
you know this. But I think that Kyle Shanahan is hot. Like hot take, Kyle Shanahan is hot.
So maybe that needs to be our next segment of like favorite teams based on how attractive their coaches are, NFL and NBA. Just because hearing your answer
I
is
mean,
actually,
this needs to be a new segment that we talk about, but I need time to prepare because I don't, is
oh yeah.
Monty even still in the NBA anymore? I don't know, but I will say like the Panthers coach, I think he's actually like hot. And when they show him and his biceps are popping, I'm over here like, oh, so
See, nowadays people be like, did you choose the Panthers just based on the coach? But you're like, no, I've been here a minute. I've been here a minute since like the Luke Kuechly days, even though you were Cam. But yeah,
yeah.
that should be a new segment. More to come. Okay, but I do have to ask you really quickly, what
Okay.
would be your other bandwagon team?
My NBA bandwagon team, I hate myself for saying this, but it will most likely be Minnesota Timberwolves.
Stop, really?
And as a Nuggets fan, like I am a Nuggets fan through and through, and I hate losing to them.
Really?
But I really, like, I actually really enjoy watching the Timberwolves.
I mean, I will understand. I will say they are fun to watch, but wow, I would not have guessed that one.
Yeah. What about you for NBA?
Oh, I'm very basic. I was a Warriors stan back in like Slash Bros.
Yeah.
And me and Nick would always be watching like Splash Bros back in like the NBA dynasty of where it went back and forth between Cleveland and Warriors. Like
The
honestly, we just do
glory
a whole
years.
segment on the glory years. Like those were some prime NBA years.
And
So
we're not going to dive into if you had said the Lakers, you and I would be beefing right now, but we're not going to dive too much into the NBA right now. But I do like, there's this feeling in me that gets like very like deeply sad because I know that a really great era of basketball is ending as Clay is getting older and Steph is getting older and LeBron is getting older and we don't have Carmelo in the league and Dame is just like kind of all over and it's like suffering from injury. There's like a part of me that is like deeply depressed and like preparing for it.
it's gonna be a really hard time whenever like because we're just in our 20s watching them and they were like in their 20s as well and now we're like mid 30s like ooh,
They
you
were
guys are
babies
not
when
that
we
much older than us.
yeah. Oh. So really weird, but um the NBA chat will be for another day, I think. But let's go into week two because we had a lot going on. So Andrea, before we dive into like our like a bunch of the, things happenings around the league, talk to me. Bills, your fantasy teams, how is it going?
So the Bills showed up. The Bills run defense showed up. Honestly, the Jets were never there. I don't think they showed up to play.
But have the
But
Jets put up the past like any seasons of modern history?
see, here's the thing. Historically, they always show up against the Bills, and then Brees Hall kind of runs all over us. And that's what I was thinking in my mind was they were going because they have Justin Fields, and he does not throw. they will have to run the ball. And I was thinking that our run defense was going to Buffalo and not, be as great as it was. So I was like, I'm going to play Brees Hall. And then I played Garrett Wilson because I was like, they're going to get behind. Garrett Wilson was like the only target. So I'm like, okay, they're going to have to throw the ball. But no, Justin Fields became Justin Fields and decided to get sacked a million times. And then my fantasy team just honestly never showed up. They like went to the moon in week one and then they just like were a late cancel and never they never appeared during week two, which is hilarious and kind of sad where both my and my husband's team are named after our dog because she did unfortunately pass away in the last few weeks. So R.I.P. Lady. So
We
we
miss
had a
you,
matchup
lady.
of who we have a matchup of who's the superior lady team. And
Oh,
she still chose my husband. Universe Lady still chose my husband as the favorite team. And she's like, Mom, your son didn't get to show up. And I'm like, cool, thanks, lady.
thanks, lady.
So
She's
yeah,
just giving you a little
there's
reminder.
the little reminders like that I still like dad first. Like this is mine. Dad's team is going to win. So
Rude.
my team just never showed her. Lady. It's like I didn't rescue you or anything, but come on, pup. And then
Yeah.
there's a beautiful sunset yesterday, and I was like, lady, really just rubbing it in my face, girl.
Yeah, she's like, congrats, dad.
Just like, here's a beautiful sunset just for you, dad, in that dominating game. But yeah, my team just never showed up. And then in our redraft league,
Hmm.
the person I played against had the most scoring game by 50 points. And I was like, I can't keep up when you have 30 points per person, even though my team had a good
Yeah.
game. So I'm just going with the one and ones right now. So hopefully you've had a better week. So Ashley, tell us about your RIL team and your fantasy team.
Well, as we all know, the Panthers, 0-2. This, really starting out
Yeah,
the
strong.
they're coming from behind. So that's all I'm saying. They're still finding their footing for this season. But pretty much, so how do I put this? In our redraft league, was it yep, it was the redraft league. I got the Cardinals. No, was it? It was
The
our
keeper?
keeper league. I got the Cardinals defense because I was like, they're going versus the Panthers. Like, this can only work out in my favor, right? And of course, like one of the very first plays, Bryce Young is sacked. The Cardinals get a touchdown on defense. So I'm over here like, right away getting like 22 points with my defense, which didn't last long because in the second half, the Panthers actually tried to play. They decided, okay, we're warm and we're going to try to show up. And they had a good little run, like, tried to come back. They lost. It's okay. I figured they were going to lose after that first like series. Fantasy wise, though. I still have two players. Again, we are recording this on before the Monday night games. But in our redraft league, I still have two players ready to go, but I am beating actually your future brother-in-law by I think 30 at this point. He has nobody left. I have two players to go. So that one's pretty much locked. We're done. Where it got really interesting was the keeper league. I am playing somebody else, and his going into last night's game, I think he only needed technically like 3 or 4 points. Like it was like I was like, I'm screwed. He has Aaron Jones. Like there's no way that Aaron Jones is getting anything less than like 10, right? So
Mm-hmm.
anyways, we have nobody going tonight, and I don't know how it happened, but Aaron Jones did not get any, like barely any points. And so I won that game by like 0.94 points. And I love hate when that happens in fantasy because like it's so exciting, but also like my anxiety can't handle that.
Oh my
So
God. It's so stressful whenever games come down to because it really does come down to like point one sometimes. I lost my works fantasy league by point two because Gibbs didn't get 2 more yards last year. I came in second because he didn't get 2 yards.
and it's frustrating. Or even like you think of how like when a quarterback at the end where they're just going to kneel. What if you needed those couple yards, but you're losing a yard because they're
Yeah.
kneeling?
Oh, people lost
Yeah.
by that for sure. Nick showed me like a Reddit years ago where that's how someone lost in their championship with the kneeling.
Yeah. That would
It's crazy.
suck because like
Oh, that would
Jalen Hurts
suck.
didn't have a great game, but I like thankfully didn't need him, but he did kneel at the end, which lost me points. But whatever. So crazy, crazy. But so here we are. You and I are both just doing our thing over here with fantasy, and congrats to the Bills. Panthers, let's figure out a way to honor our
Another week.
our hot coach. I don't know. The other thing with the Panthers, I guess like one last thing is uh they were playing, so Kyler Murray is, a shorter man. Bryce Young is a shorter man,
Short
so it was
king.
like a battle of the short kings. But the thing that really pisses me off is that Bryce Young cannot run and Kyler Murray can. And so it's like, Bryce Young, I know you can throw and sometimes you're really off, but like, can we get a run game going? Like, can we get something else going to make you like a little bit more of a threat? And so that's something that like I look at Kyler Murray and I'm like, I don't care how many people make fun of his height because like he can still run. If he's not like
He can
launching
still
that
move.
ball, he can run. So,
Yeah,
so there we
Bryce
go.
Young is just like, oh no, I'm getting sacked.
Frustrating. But
Yeah, I was watching that game. I was like, maybe they have a chance to come back. And it's like, oh,
they try.
sorry. You tried. Gold star trying.
Yeah. Again, we're millennials. Like we are gold star like participation
Gold
ribbons.
star.
And that was the Panthers this year. We participated.
Gold star, you did it. You played in game two.
Yay. We lost.
Yay.
So, okay, so
Well,
let's talk about the rest of the league.
yeah,
What is out there that you are like, hell yeah, like let's see more of this, or like,
let's talk
what are
about
some
this.
highlights?
So I think to me, the early games, actually, even into like the 4 o'clock games, there were some really high games. There were a lot of back and forth. Broncos, Colts, Dolphins, and Pats. Not necessarily games that you were like, yes, this is the matchup that I'm like super excited to watch. But there were good games, like back and forth games that were just like kept you excited about. I think the Lions have a very clear hatred of the Bears, and
Oh
they made it
my
very
gosh.
evident. They were going for that. They were up like 20 points. It was like they were had 42 points and they were going to get 50 something. They were like, we are scoring as much as humanly possible. I was like, tell us how much you hate the Bears.
Ah. It was like that meme where it's that person like with the stick or whatever, or like the Simpsons meme where it's like, stop, they're already dead. Like it literally felt
Yes.
like that where they still had their starters in, even though the points were basically doubled. Like I
Yep.
was like, oh my gosh.
They were just like pounding them down into the ground. You can tell that the hatred of like the Lions, Bears, Packers triangle is like so strong,
Right?
which I love.
Yeah, we love a good like
We love the
inner
rivalry.
inner rivalry. That
Interstate, outer state rivalry, not interstate, outer state rivalry.
inner division rivalry.
Interdivision rivalry.
Yes.
That's the phrase.
I was like, we're almost there.
We're so close. It's a Monday evening. We've worked too much today. Words are hard.
Bear with us. We are not Monday girls.
What stood out to you?
So the big game that stood out to me, and I pretty much was only watching it because I have Brandon Aubrey as my kicker on one of the leagues, but the Cowboys and Giants, like first of all, I like if they both could lose, that would be great. Like I don't care. But and like first of all, Russell Wilson, like where's this energy been for the past several years? Like I was forced to watch you when you were in Denver, and then you went to the Browns, which like, well, or no, not the Browns, the Steelers, which like was weird. And now you're like with the Giants, and you were actually playing, and the Cowboys were actually playing. Like everyone was like playing. It was back and forth. Brandon Aubrey kicking that like insanely long field goal. Like I forget, it was like 60 something, 60.
64 yards.
Ah. And so thank you for the fantasy points, but then it sends it into overtime. where he then kicks the game-winning field goal. And that game was just, as much as I don't care about either of those teams, it was like actually kind of fun and exciting to watch because it was so back and forth. Like, what was the final score was it added up to like 70 something point or like something absolutely ridiculous. So also if you had any of those defenses, your defense definitely got a negative, but what a fun game to watch. Like,
What a
what?
fun game. Like truly, like there's some really good matchups like
Mhm.
that. Two random teams that maybe it's America's game. It's
Oh, that's
America's
good.
old school teams where they're like, it's America's game. It's the Cowboys, it's the Giants. I'm like,
Maybe they should have saved that one for Thanksgiving. I don't know.
yeah, something. But there you go. There's America's team. Done. Checked. We checked that whole box. We can move on from it.
Yeah, we're
But
moving on.
um,
Who else? I
who
know I'm
else?
putting you on the spot. Oh,
Dan
the Broncos. For a second,
Broncos Colts.
we need to talk about that. So Daniel Jones,
Daniel Jones.
I swear I won't
He's
say his name like 25 times in this episode, but Daniel,
Daniel Jones is still here.
who is he? He is him. I really
Daniel Jones is back.
shook.
He silenced Bo Nix of the Broncos in another really good game.
Yeah, which came
Really
down
good
to
game.
another field goal opportunity, which ended up, they hit the field goal, ended up having it like getting a penalty from leverage. The Broncos got penalty for leverage. So they took back the field goal, whatever, lost like 5 yards or whatever off of it, and then went for it again. And it was Will Lutz missed it. And I like to say that because I've experienced Will Lutz plenty of times as a Panthers fan when he was on the Saints. So he missed it. Broncos ended up losing like at the very like just
At
that
the
was it.
very
That was
end of
the
the
game.
game, because the announcers yelling, Broncos win, Broncos win. And then they're like, wait.
Mhm. And
And
I'll
then
tell
I'm over here
you,
just like wellness check to your household.
my household was unwell because at the time the Panthers were trying to win in the very last seconds. The Broncos lost in the very last seconds. So between my husband, Broncos fan, and myself, we were both just like closing the blinds and sitting in darkness with ourselves and being sad about it. So, and our dog had a lot of anxiety because he does not like when my husband gets anxious. So
Oh
he was
no,
like
little
shivered
emotional
in
support
pain.
dog.
Yeah. So, anyways, but just to say that, like Daniel freaking Jones again
Daniel
does it
Jones.
again.
Once again, he is here. This is our Daniel Jones segment of the podcast.
Yeah, so Daniel frickin' Jones, man. Um, the other person who gave me a heart attack on Thursday, though, was Tucker Kraft because I'm playing him in our redraft league. And that man, like, I swear the ball was like a magnet to him. Like, what?
You just came out of nowhere.
Again, sorry, future brother-in-law. I kind of judged him for having him in his lineup, and then I was like, cool. Well, at least I guess he wasn't on his bench because I would have felt bad for him at that point.
Yeah.
Because I also hate like, seeing like a ton of points left on the bench no matter who you are. But
Oh,
um
you would have hated my team this week.
there's a couple of my players who have points on the bench where I'm like, but yeah, it's frustrating, right? You set the best lineup you can, but you got to leave points on your bench sometimes, which sucks.
It's
Um
all about the matchups. And you're like, you can only do your best guess at how the matchup's going to be. Hence my whole debacle with the Jets. I'm like, I'm going off of last year, thinking just knowing our run defense. And it's like, oh, okay, I left
yeah.
some good players on the bench.
Yeah, so it's
Dang.
it's it's frustrating when that happens. But then, like, when a player goes off against you on a Thursday, it almost makes you like want to like hang up like your hat for the week and just be like, well, good game. Like, good luck the
You're like,
rest of
all right, I can't come back from these 20 points,
yeah, I'm
even though
gonna
none of
see
my
my way
players have
out.
played.
Yeah, like, it ended up working out well for me, but yeah, that was a killer right away because I think he did get like 25 points or something. And usually when a player goes off, like when your tight end goes off like that, like okay, that's just gonna be the week it is. So
Yeah.
so
the end of all
But
colors.
he was impressive. I was impressed. I did not want to be playing against him, but I did. So here we are. So if he's free in anyone's league, pick him up because,
Highly recommend grabbing him.
yeah, he went off. And I don't know, that might be his best game ever, but who knows? Maybe it will be a thing for them. So, okay, let's talk about some fantasy going on. So, what is the
NTC.
tea in the league?
So we have Joe Burrow out with a third degree, I think it was third degree toe injury or toe turn. So I sent my sister a question because she is a doctor. We said, "Hey Amy, what is grade 3 turf toe?" She sent a whole thing of doctor lingo back, and it was like radiogeography, the disruption of at least four plantar plate ligaments. And I was like, now explain it to me like I work in marketing and not medicine. And she's like, he needs surgery and will miss 2 months. And then today it's like, he will miss 3 months or weeks or something like that. So Joe Burrow was out with his poor toe injury. Turf
So,
toe is like a thing.
yeah, you hear turf toe and like you almost don't think it's like that big of a deal.
No.
You're kind of like, oh, what is that? Like a fungus? And then he could just put some cream on it. Like, is he good?
Or it's just like you stubbed
But
your toe.
yeah, like so like you have an ingrown toenail, like what? Like, but just my condolences to all of the women in who are enjoying football because Joe Burrow is one of our eye candy. You know, he's one that I really do enjoy
I
watching
love always
from
seeing his
many.
game day outfits.
Yeah. Yeah, his style always on point. His play, love to watch it. Love to see him in his little uniform. Like, you know, I'm cheering for Joe
Yeah.
Burrow, but he's really in a bad spot with all of these injuries every single season. I feel
Every
like
single
there's
season.
something.
I was
So,
like, poor Joe Burrow, Joe Shiesty. He
Joe
needs
Shiesty.
something. He needs
Yeah.
something.
You know what? Put a bubble around that man and let's get him back out there after surgery and healing.
Blah blah blah.
Protect Joe Burrow.
Protect Joe Burrow. So the other one I wanted to call out was the Super Bowl rematch experiment failed. I feel like every time, every year, the next year, they always want to throw a Super Bowl rematch in there. And this year it failed.
Yes, it
And we
did.
saw the Eagles once again come out as dominant.
Jalen Hurts with his 100 yards, which thankfully I didn't need, but I love to see it because I'm personally not a huge, and this has even no, like, I'm not a Broncos fan, so it's not like I have a reason to cheer against the Chiefs. I just don't like them. That's who I am. I just don't enjoy watching them. I don't like them. I don't like Patrick Mahomes. I don't like his wife. I truly also don't really like Travis Kelce, but like if Taylor Swift likes them, that's fine. She different strokes, different folks, I guess you would say. But and their coach don't like him either. I don't like them. I really don't.
Okay,
I
love them.
couldn't care any less for them than I already do. So I was glad to see them get beat and start 0 and 2. Because and I think the broadcast said it was the first time since 2014 that they started 0
Yeah.
and 2, which is insane when you start thinking about how many Super Bowls they have won or been in since then. So
And like how dominant they've been for so long. And it's just like every few years, but we always have these dynasties, which looking back, it's really cool to see a dynasty. When you're in the middle of a dynasty, you're just like,
yeah, you're
bro, come
frustrated.
on. Even though it wasn't cool to see the Patriots in their dynasty for long. I just don't like the teams that are in these dynasties in my division. Go away.
That's fair. I don't have that problem in my division at this time.
Saints had like, well,
They
Saints,
were
the
good for a minute.
Hawks,
They were good back in the like
Falcons. I
early
said Hawks and not Falcons. Jesus Christ. Atlanta Birds.
birds.
The
Um,
Birds.
Neither here nor there. Either way, Chiefs losing again, it proves once again who the better team was in the Super Bowl last year.
And this is
Sorry.
what my husband and I were talking about. Do you think this is the year that cap space is starting to affect the Chiefs? because they're paying people so much, aka Mahomes.
Yeah, so you look at like and I don't know the exact numbers that they're being paid or anything, but you start looking at these players who are getting older, who are, kind of at the end of their prime. Like they're still phenomenal athletes. I'm not gonna like ever say that they're not, but they're at the end of their prime, but they're still getting paid millions and millions of dollars, where you probably want to start saving that money for the newer players coming in to pay even these players in the early part of their prime, because you have players like Travis Kelce who will be retiring likely within the next, again, my theory is year, but
Yeah.
we'll see. So with that, yeah, I think that cap space is a problem. Like people want to get paid.
These mega deals with these quarterbacks, you can't, like, obviously Dallas has that issue. Buffalo keeps has a massive contract with Josh, but they keep restructuring it. Like every like other month, they're like, we restructured Josh's contract. I'm like, what are you doing?
Oh,
Restructuring. It's like I'm sure they're all restructuring and negotiating, but I'm like, after a while, you're paying these quarterbacks so much money. It's like, how can you build the team around them?
yeah, it's hard.
It's
So,
hard. Like that's
because you need to be paying receive. Like, first of all, if I were a quarterback, I would want the line in front of me to be paid.
yes.
Like, get
You
me
want the line in
the
front of
line.
you to be paid. You
Yeah.
want good players to get the ball to, because if you have a scrub over here, like no one's catching your, you could be an accurate person, but they might have butterfingers.
Yeah, they're dropping it. Or they don't know the route, or they're not studying the playbook, or what. Like, there's just so many. So yeah, I do think that is for sure coming into um play for Kansas City at this time. So I think the other thing too, which you and I were texting about this, like in the afternoon games for, like, obviously the Broncos were playing, the Panthers were playing, and the Chiefs and Eagles were playing. And why were they playing at that time? Like, I think the NFL and their scheduling is like, and I'm so glad we don't have anything to do with the NFL in that capacity, because we'd be fined like every single time I open my mouth and criticize them for things like this. That scheduling would have been a really good Sunday night game. Like that game should have been a Sunday night game. And now I'm wondering if it's because the Emmys were on and there was competing. But either way, that should have been a
They've had to,
Sunday
it'd be
night.
a different week then.
Yeah. Give me the Super Bowl rematch in a true primetime spot. So when the Broncos allegedly beat the Panthers in the Super Bowl, we opened up the next season with the Broncos versus Panthers
And
on
we
that
were both
Thursday night.
there.
Yeah, and we were both there, and one of us left very upset. Because you and
I
Nick
was
could
just there.
easily
We were just there for vibes.
yeah, I was there and had terrible things yelled in my face because I wore my Cam Newton jersey, and I had my child there with me at the time. So anyways, I'm not Cam Newton. I don't know. You couldn't tell. But
Be nice to
uh,
other fans, guys. Be nice to other fans.
be cool. I'm just a girl. I'm just a girl. Um So anyways, this comes down to some NFL scheduling beef that you and I both have, because there was that. But also East Coast, how do you guys even live?
Why is there a game on at 10 p.m. tonight? I teach at 5 a.m. I
Mhm.
can't, I have to go to bed. Why? And the NBA is also doing this. Why are there 10 p.m. games?
Yeah. And I get it.
Like
In my
this,
coast, that's 8 p.m. But it still is like it's so late. It is so
it's so
late.
late. And I mean, like, also, yes, there's a 7 p.m. game, which is 5 your time. So you're like, okay, like, do I leave work? And like the Houston game,
Mhm.
whenever the game was on, the stadium was empty. I'm like, because everyone's in rush hour traffic.
Yeah. How are we supposed to watch this?
The two games are weird. It's weird for
Yeah.
Monday.
They, in my opinion, it should only have one Monday night game. And they could have probably added more to that second window of games on Sunday, in my opinion. Again,
It's
I
a
don't know.
one-off thing. I think it's a one-off thing, but it's still weird. Also,
Yeah,
East Coast just gets screwed. East Coast sucks.
that's
This
true.
is the one time where East Coast is not the best coast. West Coast is the best coast for sports
I will argue
viewing.
the mountain coast, as I call it.
Okay.
Our our mountain coast is the best place to watch sports
Yes.
because even though we do get some of those like 5:30 games when it is like NBA season, because they're playing on the East Coast, at least we could kind of watch at least the end of it. But then, because when they do like the double header, like the 5:30 and then the 8:30 game or whatever, for like the TNT double header, at least I could watch both in
You
some
can watch both.
form. Yeah.
I'm
So,
like over here, like, cool. This 10 p.m. Nuggets game. I'm like, I'm totally going to be watching all of this.
but not at all, unless you want to be exhausted.
And then she fell asleep on the couch.
Yeah.
She
So
wanted to, but then she fell asleep.
she wanted to, but sleep called. So, anyways, scheduling always been a problem, always will be a problem. We need it like clearly a man made the schedule because somebody wasn't thinking this through.
Someone was not thinking this through.
So,
Okay,
anyways,
I was
so
gonna say, shall we jump to our last section?
yeah, let's jump to our last section. So this is our waiver wire crush section. Andrea, I only have one, so I know you have two, besides for any tips that we've given in this whole thing. But Andrea, will you tell me your first waiver wire crush of the week?
I don't know if you or I put the first one down, so I'll just say it. You can fill in the gaps. Jake Browning. Don't know if that was me or you.
I think that was you because it
Okay.
was in there.
Well,
But yes,
okay. I put Jake. So Jake Browning is in there. If you need a backup, Joe Burrow is your QB. Jake Browning. He seemed to, do a great job. Like he's a pretty decent backup quarterback. So if you
yeah.
need a quick quarterback to fill in the gaps while Joe Burrow is out, and if there's not many other great picks out there, he's the one I would say. Grab him, stash him. Will be a good one for those few weeks or months whenever Joe Burrow is healing from his toe injury.
Yeah, you may as well grab him, even if he's on the bench, just grab him because somebody else is going to. And you
Someone
never
else.
know, he might go off.
He might go off. He
So,
has a really good squad, so might as well.
yeah.
All
So,
right, Ashley.
okay, mine is Wandale Robinson. I don't even know if I say his name right, but W. Robinson. So basically, I looked at a couple different leagues. So in our league, he is rostered, or in our, we use Sleeper for our fantasy platform, and he's rostered on 86% of teams. But on Yahoo, it is 22%, and I don't know what it is on NFL. 22% means he's likely available if you are using like Yahoo. I'm guessing NFL is probably somewhere in between that 22 and 86%. He went off. Like last week, I think he did well. This week he did well. He's actually on my team. I think he's on the bench because my team is so stacked. Just kidding, it's not. I like having him on my bench. So and maybe he'll enter the game as well. But if he is available, he has been crushing it. Pick him up. We love him. I think he like if, I could probably check, but I think he got like 20 points this past week. So
Okay, I didn't know he got that many, so yeah, go up,
yeah.
grab him. Um, yes, I have a stash, and so Alec Ayomeyer, he is a Titans wide receiver. He just kind of skyrocketed past some of the veterans to become the basically wide receiver number two. I have him on my taxi squad in the keeper league. I really don't have that many weapons in Tennessee. But if you need a tight end that, or not tight end, wide receiver that's going to continue to like get the ball if he's already like week two as a rookie, coming in scoring touchdowns and getting like the second most targets as a wide receiver, I don't think we got a stash.
Definitely
I was like,
grab him.
also we're calling up people on our team.
Yeah. We're calling out people on our team, but also usually the people that we play with, so there's two different things. So like our redraft league, we have 12 teams. So we had to get really, really deep into players. And then our keeper league, people are very, very smart and also literally hoard players. So you have like for us, you have to get them like before we're even talking about them, you already have to have them in our type of leagues. for the average league, I think that these are like actual
These
people
are
who are
great.
probably available in your league.
They're available in, at least Alec is available in our redraft league, and I think Jake Browning too. So they're
Yeah.
definitely options for you.
Well, maybe my husband should actually listen to our podcast because he always gets Trevor Lawrence and he should just get somebody else. And he'll
Trevor
never
Lawrence.
hear me say that because he does not listen to our podcast. And he told me
So,
he won't. So,
well, we're trying to give him advice.
so whatever. Yeah, he could listen to us. So, yeah, so those, I think, grab all those. Also look back at what we mentioned last week because I know like Booty did really well again last week or this past weekend. So like there's still people who may be like applicable to this week as well. So okay, so we want to know how did your team do, your in real life team or your fantasy team? Let us know in the comments and follow us and share us with your other baddie friends.
We tuned 16 to go. Have a good week, guys.
Bye.
Bye.